Today I'm walking you through the main quest Easter egg of Ashes of the Damned. From the basic steps to advanced strategies like spawning in a bear early or forcing lightning to spawn every round, and the best tips and tricks that I have for the boss fight. If you are scared or frustrated with this Easter egg, have no worries, you're in the right place. Starting with our augments. For stamina up, I do recommend Free Faller. I know you can turn on a combat roll automatically, but in case you haven't done that or don't want to do that, Free Faller will save you from falling to your death. For Quick Revive, if you have a pistol or a ray gun or a ray gun Mark II, equivalent exchange is going to be your go-to, but if you find yourself struggling to deal enough damage while you're down, Dying Wish is old reliable. For Juggernog, I would highly recommend Probiotic, especially if you're playing co-op. Having as many hits as you possibly can before you go down is huge, plus having both augments, hardened plates, and durable plates will be game-changing. For Melee Macchiato, I like running Espresso and Barista Brawl, and then if you have two, you can kind of choose whichever one you like. Vulture 8 is really up to you about your major augment. I personally like Smell of Death, but for the minor augments, I do love Picky Eater and Carry On Luggage. For Deadshot, having Dead Head further increase your critical damage is excellent. Double Tap is surprisingly not that powerful, at least for the boss fight, so it doesn't matter too much, but I do love running Double Time. And of course, for our field upgrade, having Aether Shroud, Group Shroud if you're playing co-op, and whichever else you like for solo, but if you have the ability for two minor augments, Extra Charge and Extension is the way to go. For your loadout, I always like recommending an assault rifle or some sort of weapon that allows you to equip an underbarrel smoke launcher. Smokes do work in the boss fights. If you're standing within the smoke, and no other zombies are in the smoke either, it will hide you from literally everything including Xursa's, and it will cancel out the boss's laser attack in phase 3. But if you're playing solo, the boss fight is much easier, and if you're looking for the biggest DPS, then the Mirage is going to be that gun. For your loadout, I would recommend spawning in with a stun grenade, and if you have it unlocked, the combat axe. But don't worry, if you can't do that, I will show you some free things around the map. First things first, as soon as you spawn in, a little tip or trick that I'm sure we are all aware of is picking up that fumigator from that corner and then being able to spray these plants for extra loot. You do have to defend it, and until you get a toxic growth, if any zombie touches it, then it might have the chance to actually die and you won't get as good of loot from it. Now, as we get set up, I want to warn you right now that this is a walkthrough video. This is not a guide, this is not a step-by-step checklist of things for you to do. Obviously, I am just getting the basic power turned on right now. In fact, I will turn on the mission tracker for you. But if you're looking for a shorter video and something more step-by-step, I have you covered. I have already done my video guide walking you through all of these Easter egg steps, which you can check out in the cards right now. Back on topic, in terms of basic strategy, when you're in these in-between zones in the fog, you can see we run over those green barnacles, and not only do they heal Tessie, but they have the chance of giving us either essence or salvage. And with the amount of salvage that we need for this Easter egg, it is absolutely worth it going out of your way to collect some of those barnacles. And the more you play the map, the more you will recognize where those barnacles are, and so you can drive a little bit more efficiently. And we are over here in Blackwater Lake. I like going this way first, mainly because over here we have Melee Macchiato, which is going to help us get points early on in the game. But as our very first task for this Easter egg, we need to start collecting these serum parts, and the first of which can be found right here. Now, this isn't the last thing we need to do with it, but it is one of the first things that we can do. And I did mention Melee Macchiato helping us out for points. Let's turn on the power here. That is because if you get melee headshots, they are worth 150 points, but I have put on the Melee Macchiato augment Barista Brawl, and that is going to make it so that headshots now give us 160 points. I know it's only 10 points versus the base melee, but I was gonna run Melee Macchiato anyway. Might as well get more points for it, right? Now, the third reason we're over here is inside of this shed, we can interact with this trophy, and that will start a little Easter egg. But this is a great way of getting a free tomahawk or combat axe right away, even if you don't have it unlocked yet. Now, it also spawns in this side quest where if you are accurate enough with your combat axes, you could get some free loot. And if you practice enough, you can get this fairly consistently. And sometimes you get lucky with a pack-a-punch crystal, maybe, and there's some points in salvage. Okay, either way, it's incredibly fast. And like I said, we need a lot of salvage this game, and that's just a good way of doing it. But now we're gonna make our way to Ashwood, park Tessie right out here, and of course start this quest to turn on power. If you're doing the Easter egg, you might want to try and be here by round 5, just in case you have a round 5 Ravager round. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just kind of nice. Once we have the power turned on, we can start putting on Pack-a-Punch on old Tessie, but right here, just like so. And then right away, as early as we can, I like going back to the farm area, collecting all these barnacles if we can. We're just getting essence here. I feel like I'm getting ripped off. Come on, give me some salvage. Nope, just essence. All right. But now that we have a Ravager round, well, actually a couple things. First things first, we could put our jar of spores on that dead horse right there, and we could start getting this power turned on. We did get round 5 Ravagers, which is good because once we turn on this power, it means we could get our next serum part. They are quite aggressive, so be careful. And you know what? I don't think I'm gonna have enough points to activate this trap. How unfortunate. That is quite all right. I'll show you what else I do. There's our max ammo, and because we have our combat axes, we can come inside this barn and tomahawk this guy's foot. Now we just need to keep an eye out for any Ravagers that spawn in, and this would be the perfect time to show you that I did spawn in with toxic growth, because if we do the little defense step that we just did on these plants with toxic growth, it's actually very beneficial. You get some great stuff. So if you use toxic growth right on top of this thing, wow, that was instantaneous. You could see that it gives us amazing loot like a free pack-a-punch crystal. Now that's all I'm going to use this for in this run, because if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to run toxic growth, that's okay. I don't want to force you. I do want to go one more round here because I believe that might be 3 rounds where we can collect this part now. There it is, Widow's Lantern. And this is an example. I'm going to go all the way around the map and collect more of these barnacles. Hey, look at that, 300 salvage. See, I told you it's useful. But if we go back to spawn here at round 8, this is actually kind of risky to do. At round 8, if we've turned on power, we should get an Uber Klaus. Now, doing this without Jug, with just a pack-punch one gun, honestly, not the smartest idea. So if you ever get put in a position like this, like I am, don't be afraid to run away. Because he is already spawned in, he will fly over to wherever you're at. So we're gonna go get some Jug and probably some double tap as well. Let's leave our car there, fly on up. We're gonna get double tap, and then inside of the Ruby Rabbit, we'll get Jug. And now we can take out this Uber Klaus fairly well. Double tap with double standard, I found really helps out. You could tell we don't even have a rarity on and we're doing really good. But then again, this Mirage here, like I said, one of the best guns in the game. We can take care of this Uber Klaus like so, and we could pick up this stabilizer chip. Now this has to deal with a separate part of the Easter egg that I want to get back to. I don't want to confuse you too much, but just remember we have the stabilizer chip from Klaus in spawn. But now what I like to do is I like to make my way to the right side of Ashwood to exit 115. And from all of the testing that I've done, once we open up the diner, the next round, so round 9, is when we are going to get that special zombie with the freezer key that we're looking for. So we will progress the round, and at any second we should get a special zombie spawn. It's a very subtle skin change. Oh, here it is actually right there. Usually if you stand there, she'll come out of the bathroom, but there's that freezer key, and this freezer key goes to this freezer for the Abomination Carcas. Now for a little bit of efficiency, I like to take old Tessie and make my way to the Cosmodrome. And I just want to reiterate, you do not have to do this step by step with me. This is the general flow of what I do. You are going to completely forget certain Easter egg steps, do things in a different order. Please do not freak out. Easter eggs are so much more fun when you're just kind of doing them at your own pace. But I bring Tessie to the Cosmodrome because we are going to need her over here for this lockdown step eventually. And by eventually, I mean right now, because I'll take the teleporter back to Ashwood, and then we will go to the left here, left of Vulture Aid. Inside of these doors, we have regular Klaus. We can install the stabilizer chip in him, and after a little bit, we'll get update requires restart, which I will never not love. And then you only need 2 stuns. I like to throw it right here, kind of bank it off that wall just like that. 2 stuns, and that will wake up Klaus. Now, I should mention, if you forgot to bring in stuns, there is 1 free stun inside of the spawn area inside of the quick revive room on this shelf, and there is a second one inside of the Juggernog room right behind the stairs here. And if you forgot to activate the trophy for the tomahawk, there is a free tomahawk inside of the diner in the kitchen. Now, before you do this, you want to make sure you've turned on all of the power stations, which is what we did earlier, because it's going to be very important right now. We're going to go right back to the Cosmodrome, and down underneath here where we just unlocked, oop, Klaus just spawned in. We can command Klaus to walk over here, and he should activate this control panel and kill the zombies. Great. And then you can interact with this panel, and you are going to need to stand inside of this red circle. If you're playing co-op, whoever activates the panel will need to be inside of this circle. If you're solo, this is really easy, especially if you do it at the end of a round, and you can leave the circle. The progress just won't progress until you're inside of the circle. And yes, sometimes Klaus throws a Casimir. But now what we could do is we could take this ether barrel. You won't be able to sprint with it or crouch, but now we can take this to all of the different power stations. And so that's why I really like having Tessie over here, because it makes this incredibly easy. And you cannot use launch pads with this ether barrel either. So you are going to need to either walk in the fog or take old Tessie. But once you have this ether barrel, bring this over to this power generator, and it will do a little process there. You don't need to like defend it or anything. It's just another kind of power quest. And once it's over, you can collect it. And now we have a little bit of a timer. You could see we are decaying, or this ether barrel is decaying. And if you combat roll, be sure to pick up your barrel. If you have the automatic combat roll on, you will drop the barrel if you combat roll. So once we've done the Ashwood power generator, I like going over to the Blackwater Lake first, so that way we end this at farm. But once again, we'll put that in the power generator, kind of defend it a little bit, maybe make Klaus go away so he doesn't turn around on you. Once it's done, you can pick it up, head back to the car. You've got plenty of time to do this. It refreshes every successful power generator you go to, but we'll go back this way through the Janus Towers spawn area and then ending up in farm. So we'll do this one more time, and once this is done, we will bring it all the way downstairs inside the barn downstairs to this Cortifex cube, or whatever cube this is, and we have transferred this energy. Now we need to input a symbol on each of these 3 sides. So there are 3 symbols on the roof of all of these buildings that we need to take note of. And the way you see that, or the best way to see it in my eyes, is to take the fast travel to Janus Towers, and boy, does that block a lot of that view, doesn't it? Wow, they moved that. And if you pause, you can generally see, okay, what those symbols look like. But to be honest, you might just have a better time just remembering. Plus, you get a second look at it because you have to teleport back. It's really not that bad. There are the symbols, very good, very simple. And I would recommend doing this at the end of a round, otherwise you'll get swamped with enemies. But each symbol correlates to a different side of this cube. So that's our first symbol, that's our next symbol, and then that is going to be our next symbol, and boom, interact with this. And if successful, yes, it will give you the wonder weapon. Gotta be careful, I don't have much armor here. We could go ahead and pick it up, and it's gonna give you a little tutorial. All you need to do, it's gonna throw out these little ink things, and you just need to shoot them and then recall them with your reload button and absorb all of them. You could do multiple of them at once too. And this the thing will actually kill the zombies around you too, and it also has a really powerful melee, especially good with melee macchiato too. And so now that we have the wonder weapon, we can focus back on these serum parts, and for that we're gonna go back to Ashwood, and we are going to upgrade old Tessie with the Carcas that we got a while ago. And I think I'm gonna turn around here, get an armor plate, because now we need to be on the lookout, and it might be a good time actually to switch our field upgrade to to Ether Shroud. But what we're looking for are those really obvious glowing purple pods around the fog areas. So there doesn't appear to be any here. They stand out really easily, don't worry too much about it. And there is one right there. Like I said, fairly obvious. All you need to do is zap it with the car, and what you can do is get right next to it because, ooh, there's a free perk, and that, very good. Whew, you want to do that a little fast. I do like kind of hiding myself with the car so you can get right back in because, man, you will get swamped with attacks. And so that is another serum piece, and the next serum piece, since we have the Wonder Weapon, we can go to the Cosmodrome again and get ourselves Wisp Tea. Once we have Wisp Tea, I recommend going right back to Ashwood because as soon as you get a kill with Wisp Tea, we can bring the Wisp over to this mirror and the Wisp will activate the mirror. Pretty cool. Once it's activated, you could shoot it with your Wonder Weapon. Very easy to do, and pick up this Powder of the Forgotten. Now, this Powder of the Forgotten is very special because it's actually not one of the ingredients we need, but rather it's going to initiate the process that we're about to do. Now, the next serum piece we can get right now, we could pick up this Molotov from the blacksmith garage, and we can make our way back to farm. Once at farm, do you remember the foot that we dropped? All we need to do is Molotov it, and then we can pick up these human bones. So now we need a Ravager for one piece, and then a Zursa for another, except Zursas don't naturally spawn until round 16. Luckily, if you need a Zursa, and you make your way to the Cosmodrome, and you have the Wonder Weapon, there are some hidden skulls which we can shoot, the first of which being right here. You have to get the spike in its mouth, I think. It will start glowing green, or its eyes will start glowing. The second one is right in this corner. It's really hard to see, but you can kind of hear the activation too. And then the third one is underneath the Mirage Wall by in that corner right there. That will spawn in a special Zursa, custom made just for this Easter egg step, and you can weaken it with your gun. Try not to kill it though. We're gonna weaken it, good, and then use the laser attack on old Tessie to take it out. Now, this is a lot easier to do if you have health bars on. Oh, it seems the Zursa's kind of caught right there. Oh no. Zursa, come over. Well, I just, you could be stuck there. That's fine. Yeah, if you have health bars, it's a lot easier to do, but if not, it's still possible because you could just wait for old Tessie to recharge. It really doesn't take that long either. And hopefully, there you go. There's forced hibernation, and we have the mysterious limb. And so now we only got one more thing to go, and we need a Ravager. This was ironically the first thing that I wanted to get. Like I said, this doesn't need to be in any particular order or any particular round. Just go at your own pace and have some fun. But for our next part, all we need to do, the only thing we need to do is get a Ravager kill with a trap. It doesn't need to be any trap in particular. Ravagers don't need to be anything special, but there are our Ravager eyes. Pretty good. But now for our next step. This comes the lockdown and the chemistry step. I would recommend pack-a-punching the Wonder Weapon like we just did, and I would highly recommend having tier 2 armor, which can be found right here. And of course, getting to the end of the round since we're gonna be dealing with, well, a little mini lockdown. And I would recommend having at least one Ether Shroud. I might be actually short here. In fact, I am short on Ether Shroud. That's okay. There is actually a free Ether Shroud right here in this little doorway, just like so. We're free full power. And I know you've seen the chemistry step before and you're really nervous about it. Have no worries. I have this cheat sheet for you. This is linked in the description because all we need to do is once we go into this room, we simply need to interact with this white powder first, and that is going to spawn in this cipher. With my cheat sheet, all we need to do is look at the very first letter of this cipher, and that is going to tell us the order that we need to put in these ingredients. These are actually words translated. The words relate to the items, and that's how we know the order. It sounds more complicated. All I need to do, take the first letter and use my key to translate these symbols. So for example, you could see this open mouth V here. That is going to be the human bones. This C without a dot in it is going to be the fungus. And then this L with the dot in it is going to be the tentacle. So we're going to go bones, fungus, tentacle. And that is the correct formula. Now, advanced strategy here. In theory, because this white powder is needed to reveal the cipher, you could, in theory, use the wonder weapon to get the white powder first and then see what ingredients you need to collect from there. But I like practicing collecting them all because 1, it's kind of fun, and 2, that way I remember it all. But that is a big help if you don't need the tentacle from the bear. But now that we have an Ether Shroud, we have the upgraded wonder weapon, or pack-punched wonder weapon. I am also going to get at least 1 decoy. In fact, I'm going to get 2 decoys since I can afford it. And you can use monkey bombs. I've seen people use toxic growth and just standing in the corner. I've seen people melee macchiato their way through this. I love using the gauntlet to shoot the enemies and then using the overcharge ability to both kill the enemies and overheal you. Now, I also really like running turtle shell here, even though I do recommend probiotic. Turtle shell just protects you from so much damage. I love it. You will notice you are not regenerating health in here, and you are at constant low health. That's kind of the ritual lockdown here. And the way I did it, I think, is the most fun, but using your ether shrouds, decoys, monkey bombs, like I said, standing in the corner, specifically, I think it's this corner with toxic growth. I've seen people cheese it that way. There's many ways you can complete this lockdown. In my opinion, what I do is a little overboard, but I think it's really fun. And now we're on everybody's favorite step, the key step. This key step has been very tricky for a lot of people, but from what I've seen, all of the locations are correct in all of the guides that I've watched. It's just that they're really hard to see. So if we're going this way, the first location of this yellow key is in between the Cosmodrome and Ashwood. The first location is right there. Moving on down, the next location of the key or potential location could be right there, which it actually is. So we're gonna need to use our wonder weapon for that. I just wanna get old Tessie down here, but the last location for this key is actually right on top of that cliff right there. So they're all fairly close together, and with this yellow key, it is going to force us to hold our melee weapon out, and it's going to restrict us from using our armor plates. And so what we need to do is we need to shoot somewhere around the key to where, if we recall those things, the key will be brought to us. That can be difficult to do, so I would recommend decoys, ether shrouds. Make sure you're really armored up here. There we go. I think we got it. There's that key being pulled right there. Good. We're going to pull out our melee weapon. And yes, it does look like I can't put on any armor plates. That's okay. So with this key, we need to come up here into this zip line near the jug room, and in this brand new Easter egg cube, we need to interact with the side of it, and that will break one of the chains. Every time you do this, I would recommend topping up on armor plates, just because it can be really, really dangerous down there in the fog. So that first yellow key is very easy to do. In my opinion, it's the easiest. This next key location is the next easiest to see, but I think it's the most difficult, the most challenging in terms of like risk reward. So what I like to do first is I like to bring Tessie up right up to here and come out and kind of look. Is it okay? So right there, it's in that corner. It could also be on that shelf right there, or if we go down here, slide on down, combat roll. I love that. It could also be back here in between those barrels right there. So what I like to do, whether it's down here or up here, is I like to bring old Tessie right next to it. And once again, I will just shoot it with the wonder weapon, bring it up like so. Okay, and then we can ether shroud. Like I said, having that ether shroud is really key here, because this green key, as you're about to see, makes us move slower than molasses. Down here we go. Okay, look at this is how fast we go. So again, doing this at the end of the round, bringing old Tessie with you, especially if you're playing solo, very important. But we can come up to this cube again, interact with that, and some chains are broken. Refresh on our armor plates, and then go down for the third and final key. This one, I know you're frustrated with. I'm frustrated with it too, because I do think it's glitched. I don't know, maybe I'm just blind. I've done this Easter egg so many times, but dang it if I can't see it if it's at certain locations. Specifically, if it's at the first location, which is the one we're coming up at, this Z-Rex head right there. there. Now, if it's here, I've found that shooting behind it like that and then oh my goodness, that's a perfect example. That's where the key was. I can't see it when it's back there, but doing exactly that has helped me see it. Now, the other locations I have seen it at, the first of one being at the bottom jaw of this Z-Rex, I oftentimes see it there. I've heard that you can also hear them, but I've always been commentating while I do this step, so I've always been yapping instead of listening. But the third and final key location is probably the easiest one here. It's just to the right of this Project Janus little tank right there. Very easy to see. And a little pro tip, if it is over here and you want to run to 115, you can do so. And if you have the key and you use a launch pad, it will drop the key automatically, but you can then bring like old Tessie over, pick up the key and use old Tessie to drive back. So it's not that big of a deal. And you might want to do that because picking up this red key is going to cause us to be low health and not regenerate health. And it appears as though the key despawns too. That is sad. Maybe it just resets. We'll do this again. Is it back there? Yes, it is. Great. We've got that key. Oh, this is a bad idea. Oh, look at that. Again, another reason why I love Turtle Shell. Decoy grenades. Vulture Aid with Picky Eater with decoy grenades is fantastic. Aether Shrouds. This is a pretty challenging quest, but hopefully so far it hasn't been that challenging. We've got a little, I guess, Easter egg hunt you could say for these things, and then some key locations. It's not too bad. And after a little bit of work, we get treated with a mid-game cutscene, and I quite like this one. And once the cutscene is done, you will get the DG2 turret barrel for old Tessie. And you'll notice the clock tower is now floating here. We can go ahead and upgrade old Tessie, put on that DG2 turret. Now from here, we could take the DG2 turret and we can shoot the clock tower. And now we have 3 different chances to glow purple and do another Easter egg step. This is a little esoteric, but once you shoot the clock tower, you could shoot it again with your wonder weapon and then recall that shot and you will turn purple. You'll have this essence about you. And so there are 4 different trials we need to do all around the 4 different areas in order to progress this Easter egg. And the first of which is going to be right here. We need to shoot, while we're glowing purple, shoot these satellites. How in the world did that miss? Did you see that? How did that miss? I've been gypped, bamboozled. But this Easter egg step is really good. Oh yeah, we turned around. Honestly, turning around isn't that bad because sometimes the game crashes, and if you've done a lot of stuff during a certain round and the game crashes on that round, that is not fun to deal with. And you know what? I am gonna go get Vulture Aid and Picky Eater for some more decoys. I think they're gonna be very useful this Easter egg. But now we could try this again. You only have a certain number of shots every round, but once you know what you're doing, it's really not that stressful at all. And it's quite fun actually, especially some of these. They have a lot of really good spectacle to them. We're gonna try this again, satellite. There you go. We'll go back. To get more purple, you need to shoot a different clock face. You can't shoot the same clock face twice. Oh, right, and this thing cools down. Yeah, okay, all right. And for this one is the one I usually have a problem with. I do that. Okay, there you go. There we go. Okay, cool. Now, once again, I have a cheat sheet for you for this next step. But let me explain what we're doing. We are taking these sets of letters. These sets of letters or symbols translates to a word, rocket, launch, weapon, etc. We are going to take that word that we got from these symbols and translate those into numbers. And we are inputting those numbers on these computers. Symbols go to words, words go to numbers, numbers we input in the computer. Not too bad, right? So if we use our cheat sheet, it looks as though these symbols translate to the word launch, which translates to certain numbers, starting with 11 and 0. To input the numbers, you need to shoot the bottom right button of the TV right here. We just need to wait for 0. There we go. Boom, there you go. 11. 0, and then 2013. Again, Aether Shroud decoys are really good for this. 2013. There you go. Okay, there's 20. It's a little tedious solo, but it's not that bad. You get used to it. 13. Then 2 and 7. 2 and 7. 2, 7. Nice. Turtle Shell is also really good for that too. But if you've input those numbers correctly, you will get some beautiful music and you can treat yourself to a beautiful rocket launch. And the storyline implications of this are beautiful, but we're going to keep the walkthrough going. I'm also going to switch to Frenzied Guard, but I think we might have one more charge maybe somewhere. Do we got another charge on the clock tower? Yes, indeed we do. Nice. So what we can do with this one we actually do need old Tessie for. That was the Cosmodrome challenge. This is going to be the Exit 115 challenge. And for this one, we're going to need old Tessie. Now you are timed when you are glowing purple. And for this challenge, we are also timed, but trust me, it's actually really not that bad. We need to save 3 different zombies in a very short amount of time. The first of which is this trucker, and we're going to put Tessie right up against this truck. I guess a better explanation is we are going to revive this zombie by doing something special like ramming into the back of that truck. And then we're going to revive this zombie right here by meleeing this cash register. And then we are going to revive a zombie in there by getting Klaus, but we're going to do that later. Oh, that's what I was worried about. Okay, we're going to revive this zombie by calling in Klaus. And you might be thinking, donuts, ya donut. We're going to need to turn around, which means that lightning is going to stop striking. And you're right. But luckily, there is a way to get lightning to strike again. There are 3 of these lampposts, one of them being right here, one of them being back over there. Oh, hello, Zursa. Look at how good this gun is real quick. Zursa is not an issue at round 16. But then the 3rd lamppost is sparking right there. You can see how it's sparking. If we want lightning to strike here, which by the way, first you want to get to the end of the round because you don't want all of these zombies as you do this. If we want to spawn in lightning, what we could do is take our DG2 turret and shoot this lamppost that's sparking, and then another lamppost will be sparking, and it looks like it's that one over there, so we'll shoot that one. Can we shoot it? Very good. And then we could shoot this one, and that will spawn in the lightning strikes again. Look at that. Pretty darn cool. But unfortunately, we need to go get purple again, which means we need to move the Tessie again, so I'll be right back. We're gonna shoot the clock tower, shoot one of the clock faces, turn purple, and then drive back and try again. Now again, pro tip, if you just nudge this truck with Tessie there, by the way, the Wisp T augment that holds a zombie is goated. That should be good. So now we're gonna run through everything really quickly because we are timed. We're gonna shoot the clock. That is going to stop time, but because Tessie's touching that truck, the soul will go to this guy. With him alive, we can go over here and then we can melee open this cash register. If it doesn't do it at first, you can try a couple more times. That will revive the waitress, and we need to lead them to their different colored lightning strikes. So you saw the trucker was red. You see that this waitress is purple, so once purple is stunned in there, very good. We need to find the trucker. Where'd the trucker go? Trucker, come on over here, trucker, no! There you go. Okay, maybe we need to do that. Come on, trucker. We've got 20 more seconds, and in solo, I think it might be possible to do all of it at the same time. I just wouldn't count on it. But there we go. I guess we did have time to do this one, but we'll go to the next round. We're only on round 16. That's okay. Once the lightning stops, we should have 2 of these smoke wisps here, and because we have Tessie here, Perkaholic, we can do this free lightning thing again. Here's this one, there's that one, and there's that one. Very good. We can shoot the clock tower again, turn purple, and because we don't need Tessie anymore, we can just launch our way over there. You can see the only lightning is now the yellow lightning, and before we actually stop time, I do like calling in Klaus before that, so we've got plenty of time, and we will now freeze time. We just need to get Klaus over here. Sometimes he's a little finicky, but he should now smash open that box, which breaks open the trunk, which revives this guy. Hello, guy. We can bring him on up here. We've got 30 seconds, and that is easy as done. There we go. Not even a sweat. This one takes the most amount of round progression for me, but I am a firm believer of you don't need to min-max every single point, every single round, every single thing. Go at your own pace and have fun. So once again, we're gonna get to the end of a round and we can shoot the clock tower again for the 3rd trial that we need to do. We can become purple again, and now we get to go to farm. The last trial takes place on Blackwater Lake, so we can't do that one next. But once we're in farm, you'll notice that inside of here there is a clock that's either at 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or noon. or I guess midnight? Well, there are these Roman numerals on the ground that we need to stand on. So we have midnight or 12. So we're going to need to stand on 12, and that's going to cause this dad's head to rotate. And as soon as it starts glowing red, you could shoot it with your purple glow. Very easy step, very creepy step. I've gotten at 9 o'clock, you need to stand here. If it's 3 o'clock, you need to stand here. Once again, you have to be purple. His head will rotate. Very simple. But now we're on the lookout for 4 different antiquities, or little items, the first of which being right here on top of that bed. Very easy, they're in the same spot every time. The next one, oh, I always make that one, or I always miss that one now. The next one is going to be inside of here. It's this little mask right there. Next one is down underground. This might be very, very dangerous to do at the start of a round. Inside of this bathtub, there's Ma's chalice. The last one is in this garage, in this tool shed area somewhere. Boom, there you go. There's the pig stick. Now, I highly recommend really getting to the end of a round for this one. And we are going to want at least 1 monkey bomb, if not 2. And this is also why I put on Frenzied Guard. We're at the end of a round. Very good. I'm going to go get myself a monkey bomb right there. There we go. I've got Frenzied Guard. I've got a monkey bomb. Now we can input all of the items we just collected on the ground. Now, I think the general consensus is once you put in this last one is going to act sort of like the start button. So we are going to need to defend all of these things from a whole bunch of zombies. So doing this at the start of a round is very difficult to do, but if we interact with this one again, yep, just once, that seems to work. I like to kind of shoot all of these things with the wonder weapon and then explode them. I like to turn on this trap to distract some of these guys, but when I notice that I'm getting a little bit too overwhelmed, or if these things are losing too much health, that's when I like to throw a monkey bomb or use Frenzied Guard. Very good, we're doing that, but this is not too bad. Using the wonder weapon to kind of set up traps on all of these things. Obviously you could shoot them too, but I feel like that's not as efficient. There we go, making sure we're all good. Very nice, I'm liking this so far. We'll do that. Can we go here? We've got about 30 seconds. That's generally where you want to do your Frenzied Guard. I know this seems like super easy right now. We're gonna go ahead and do it now. I've gotten this to be like almost impossible, where I'm like, how do people do this? So I really think doing it at the end of the round is like the key to making this as easy as possible. It's still very challenging, and there are definitely other strategies that you can do once Frenzied Guard is over. You want to throw a monkey bomb because now more and more zombies are coming in. And then 3, 2, 1, boom, there we go. That is the farm wisp step all done. And congratulations, you are on the final step of this really long Easter egg. But dang it, I've had so much fun so far. I hope you have too, because now I want to switch back to Ether Shroud, and hopefully we could do it on this round before we accidentally kill any zombies with these launch pads. And it looks like our clock tower reset. That is quite all right. We will flip the round and get ourselves another Ether Shroud. And while we don't have an Ether Shroud, we are at the end of the next round. We could go ahead and do this, stop the clock. And for this one, this is our last one. We're going to turn purple, and we are going to take old Tessie all the way through Blackwater Lake, and we are going to park her right over here. So we are ready to enter the boss fight as soon as we're done with this step. Now, very, very important here. You are going to want to interact with this blue wisp first before you can do this step. And then inside of here, inside of the projector room, we can shoot this projector. Now, these pictures are going to show us 4 different areas of the map. And this is a very bad pause screen right now. This is showing us, I think, the front of the house. We're gonna try to get a better look. Yeah, that's the front of the house. Next slide. That is the boathouse. This is the side shack. I like calling that the wall by though. And then that's gonna leave the back of the house. Yes, okay. So with this order, we need to find film reels and shoot them in that order. So there's a film reel in the front of the house that we need to shoot first. Luckily, it's in the same location every time. It is gonna be right here. If we shoot it, it should glow purple. Very good. Then we need to find a film reel in the boathouse, which if we go inside of here, it should be right up there, glow purple, thank you very much. And then in the side wall by area, if you do this in the wrong order, you will get a jump scare and have to go to the next round. But here's that one, very good. And the last one is in the back, and it should be right down here, thank you, right there. And then boom, that is the last one. That spawns in another wisp right here, which if we get close, we interact with it. We can open up this box, and the final step is going to be calling in Klaus once again, but we need to bring Klaus in here, and he will pick up this item. Once he does that, he is going to make his way outside of the house, and this is where you are going to get the prompt to start the final encounter. And so now I would advise you to flip around, so that way if you do crash or fail, you can save and quit, or if you want to practice the boss fight, you can save and quit and start over and over and over again. If you do save and quit, you will need to call in Klaus and do this last little bit over and over again. But before we get to the final encounter, I'm gonna go get some points and some perks, so I'll be right back. Now, I do want to mention, as you're getting set up, even if you have all of the perks and you complete a TED task for a free perk, that free perk will be permanent. Like, I just got permanent Juggernog right now. What's the streamer luck? Wow. So those TED tasks are absolutely still worth doing, even if you have like a perkaholic, because now, even if I go down, I am not gonna lose Jug. Now, I will warn you, if you are using this Mirage, you really don't need Pack-a-Punch Tier 3. In fact, most of your weapons in this boss fight kinda don't really matter unless you're playing co-op. But if you're solo, you really won't use your weapons all that much. In fact, a lot of this getting ready has a lot more to do with salvage. Like, if you're playing co-op, I would highly recommend getting yourself a hand cannon to deal with the bear, even though I love the Disciple Injection, all of your perks, and monkey bombs. And make sure you have 2 ether shrouds. And once you're ready to go, you can interact with Klaus, and you will start the final encounter. Now, I always make sure I'm also topped up on armor plates as well. And you're gonna notice Klaus let out this shriek, and after about 20 or 30 seconds or so, this energy or these wisps will fly into the map. We need to collect these, and there are 3 of them per little fog area. And so once you see this first one right here, you can go into here, and these are in the same location every time. So feel free to follow the route that I take here, right to the left there, and then back sharp right there, and then there we go. If you do this out of order, as in going the opposite direction, doing a different fog location first, or exiting a fog location without collecting the 3 smokes, you will fail the step and need to repeat the next round. But we've got this first one here. I like to grab the healing orbs for more salvage and points just for fun, and obviously more health. There's the second one. Then the third one is sped up here. This one's pretty easy. Going all the way through farm. This is a really fun little final encounter. For the terminus area, we have to go up this ramp, and then you might want to slow down a little bit once we get up here, because we'll need to turn to the right, hit this one. If you miss it, you can back up and get it. I oftentimes miss this one. Then we can jump off the cliff here. We are going to need to make a really sharp right as soon as we get to Ashwood and go all the way back to where we came in Blackwater Lake. Oh, there's a Zursa. Hello. We'll get that one. We'll make a left to go get this one, this energy right there. And welcome to the boss fight. This is the 3rd and final one. Boom. Please don't crash on me, Black Ops 7, please. Now, if you are playing co-op, this is still gonna be a pretty difficult boss fight, but if you're solo, it's far more manageable. So right away, we are gonna be put inside of the truck, and without boosting, you can just ram into the boss like so. Now, whenever you see any of these red missile strikes coming in, oh boy, you want to avoid those. And more importantly, you do not want to attack the boss like this unless the boss is not doing those missile strikes. They give you clear opportunities to deal damage, and during the missile strikes is not one of them. Oh, here you go, here you go. Now, a little pro tip for this, especially in co-op, is actually go a little bit slow. I'm accidentally picking up all these health orbs. Don't be afraid to drive a little slow. Your first instinct is to just boost out of the way, but if you're going slow, you have a little bit more control over old Tessie. And you can see even with that one right there, that one really wasn't boosted all that much, or we weren't driving all that fast and we were still able to boost into the boss. Look at that. So it gives you kind of like a mini boost without using your actual boost charge. Oh my goodness, why'd you spin out there, donuts? So then we'll go this again, and after a while, okay, there's another missile attack. So again, you kind of want to drive in as controlled of an area as you can. You can be a little bit more liberal with grabbing those barnacles because now they do respawn. They didn't respawn before, but now they do. They used to only respawn per phase of the game or per phase of the boss fight, but now they'll respawn after a certain amount of time. I think it's like a minute or something, but now we could do this this, and we should be getting close to the next mini phase. There's always a damage phase where he's doing these attacks right here, the missile attacks. Oh, you see these barnacles are respawning. I'm gonna go ahead and drive over them. Like I said, driving slow, very controlled. If you're gonna hit one of those red missile circles, you want to hit on the outermost circle that you can. Now he's doing this spinning Beyblade attack. You are going to need to either ram into him, maybe not like that, maybe not like that, or this DG2 turret is going to need to shoot him to get him to spawn in those purple beam that we're looking for. So now we're doing this attack, so avoid him at all costs, kind of just avoid those missiles that we can, and boom, there we go. He just released a purple energy beam. I've been told don't go up in the middle here. He will try to guard it. I've never really had too much of an issue. There we go. He'll do that sometimes, but once you hit the purple beam, he'll automatically go to the center. And once you do that, I highly recommend going to the turret, or if you want to, you could also lean out of the car and you can deal damage to his weak underbelly there. We'll have to do that again. I'll show ya. Sorry, it's hard to talk and do this at the same time. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna avoid those. We've got a purple thing over here. These are on a timer, so you might not get to them in time, but if you do, turn around, he'll go right up to the pillar. Boom, there you go. Let's go ahead and try leaning out of the window. Oh my goodness, there we go. Then there's that one done. Cool, you can lean back in the window. Sometimes that's a little bit easier for people, but I do want to tell you, at least on PC, there is and then a max ammo spawns in and a max armor spawns in, so that's really good. At least on PC, there is why did I spin out there? There is a way to keybind the previous seat of old Tessie, so you can go back and forth between the turret and the driver's seat really easily. Now in this second phase, he gets a lot more aggressive. You gotta be careful. I'm gonna grab this max ammo because it's just gonna be there. Now I want to attack him, but I don't want to do it while we're getting missiled here. I do want to pick up, oh, that max armor just broke. I should have picked that up. We're gonna get healed a little bit. Now that the missiles are gone, we're gonna go ahead and attack him. And maybe that was enough again. We can attack him again. And there's the missile attack. So we might get Tessie to break here. If Tessie breaks, you want to throw a monkey bomb. Oh my goodness, this might be a time to use a boost because that was a little close for comfort. There we go. We'll get all these healing orbs, very good. If Tessie breaks, throw a monkey bomb until phase 3. If you're in phase 3, you want to use an ether shroud because an ether shroud is gonna cancel out that laser attack. And once again, these windows to attack him are getting smaller. These rockets, I'm going right in the middle of them. Oh my goodness, maybe not there. Oh boy, really tough to do, but if you just want to hit just the edge of them, that's the safest way to go. Once the missiles are done, we can go back up here. Boom, take him out just like so. Keep looking for these healing orbs. He's weak again, especially in that weak spot. Oh my goodness, that rarely happens. I can't believe that happened. Okay, missile attack again. Be patient, take your time. Don't want to die. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna do this. Oh, I'm out of armor. There we go. There's a monkey. We're gonna put on armor. This is a great example. Great example. We're Tessie. There we go. And we're back. And then do we have enough time? Very good. Yes, indeed. Maybe I need to be a little bit more aggressive in repairing Tessie with these barnacles. Oh, maybe not when it's unnecessary like that. Okay. The second phase is the most kind of, I guess, fun for me because it's the most like skill dependent. Once he's done with the missiles, hit him again. Very good. Maybe heal a little bit more. Really should have attacked him just now. Really should have attacked him. We'll go for it. We'll go for it. Oh no, he's doing missile attacks. Bummer. Let's get those barnacles, repair a little bit. Let's go up and attack him. Very good. Right on that orange weak spot. While he's doing missiles, we'll go after these barnacles. They slowed down those missiles, so it's a little bit easier to dodge them. You have a little bit more time, but they're still very threatening, obviously. We'll see if we can't get him again. There we go. Missile attack. Dang it, dude. Dang it. Dang it. Go away. Go away. Wait, hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Go, go, go. Nice driving, Donuts. Nice driving. Okay. Tessie handles pretty poorly. There is a handbrake option. You just want to be very careful. Oh my goodness. Go around these. Easy enough. Now you'll notice in the corner of this arena, there is a max ammo and a max armor that respawns with every phase. You can take that. You can use your wonder weapon to retrieve those, but I've always found it really difficult to do that mid dodging everything. During his missile attack, you can repair Tessie so that we're ready to smash him again. You'll get a good couple times to smash him. There's like a good rhythm to it, honestly. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now he's in his purple beam attack. We've got the purple beam over here, so we're gonna go ahead and try to get over there. Oh my goodness. Hello missiles, dodge, dodge, dodge. Monkey bomb out. I've got no more armor. There's our dying wish, ether shroud. There's a max armor. Let me demonstrate. how you can take this, boom, just like so, max armor. Now we're gonna need to wait for purple again, dodging these attacks, and then we can ram him for purple. And if we speed over there, maybe we could get it, maybe we could get it. Nice, there we go. And then we can attack him, and then I'm gonna try leaning out and shooting him in that weak spot with this amazing gun. Very good, reload, and then there we go. Almost, we can lean back in, dodge the attacks, dodge the missiles, get healed up, driving slow and under control. We've got another purple, this will be good. I'm gonna use the DG2 turret again. We'll go up, boom. You kind of want to hold forward so you get into a good position during this phase, during this little mini attack. There we go. And now we are on the final laser attack. With this attack, you're gonna hear him charge his laser, and you need to actually boost into him using your actual boost. I want to get this free max armor first. So once your boost is ready, you want to use it. Oh no, oh no. So if you manage to block or not do that, first of all, that's gonna happen, so that's okay. This is why you need to save your ether shroud, so that way you can repair old Tessie. But if you manage to knock him out of that laser attack, it's actually really good because that's gonna cause him to go on a slight cooldown, and so your boost can kind of save up again. There's another boost, so we're gonna boost into him. Very good. You can see this is a very tight window, very tight window. Here's some missiles again. Luckily we're full on health. Let's dodge these missiles. We've got our speed boost. Let's go. Boom. Very nice. Keep using those barnacles intelligently. We've almost got our speed boost. Once our speed boost is dead, line up, boost into him. Very good. This is a very tight window of timing, I guess you could say. It's very close. You can see, oh, now our speed boost is ready. Here we go. Nice. It goes really fast if you manage to do it very well. Once you're recharging, look for these barnacles again. We're saved up. Line up again. Boost, boost, boost. Go, go, go. Just like that. You can kind of stun lock him basically. Oh, missiles, missiles, missiles. I hate you, missiles. And oh, he's going. Go, go, go. Donuts boost. Nice. Let's go. This is much easier to do in solo because you take less damage in the driver's seat. You can see I'm doing pretty good on health. Haven't even lost an armor plate yet. Famous last words, famous last words. Oh my goodness, I'm stun locked. Oh my goodness, what are we doing? That was nuts. I gotta go. I gotta stop it. Boom. Okay, go to the healing thing, please. That was karma. And now we've entered the final phase, one final purple. Let's see if we can do it. Come on. Very good. All right, go in the center, pop it up just like that. Pop it up, pop up out of here. And we could go into here. Ray Gun Mark II is very good for this. We can reload, do this sort of thing. We're almost there. And then he's back. Oh no, we can get our healing stuff going. Tessie, go. This is so intense. I really do enjoy the mechanics of this boss fight. Here's another purple. Can we get him this go? Let's do this. And up we go. Boost again. We're gonna lean out the door. Can we get it with our Mirage? I think we can. And just like that. Oh my goodness. Lean in the car. 10 HP. Let's go, Donuts. Let's go. That was one of the hardest boss fights in Call of Duty Zombies. And I'll admit, post-nerf, that was still pretty challenging. Now, this is very important. At least as of right now, you want to continue after playing for two very specific reasons. One, you want to hear the announcer change because there's a different announcer, so that's pretty cool. But also, I think until Season 1, if you want to hunt for relics or equip relics, you need to interact with this tablet right when you get back into the game. I believe this requirement is going away after Season 1, but I am going to include it just in case. It's always good to be sure. And of course, if you are on the same round that you entered in the boss fight, or if you did die or lose a quick revive or something, you should be able to save and quit and try the boss fight again. And of course, one of the single best tips for this entire Easter egg, if you're still struggling, is to use the link in the description and join the Discord, and then use the round-based zombies looking for players channel to find a squad to help you out. There are literally thousands of people already in that Discord looking to help you out and talk some zombies. Shout out to the Discord, you guys are awesome. But congratulations, you have beaten Ashes of the Damned. and hopefully unlocked relics for you. This is going to take a lot of time on your first run. I know it feels incredibly overwhelming. This is a long video, but I assure you, one of the biggest things holding me back from enjoying Easter eggs was the fact that in a guide, it felt a lot bigger than it actually was. Once you get in game, once you practice 1 or 2 steps at a time, just practice getting the DG2 and that's it. Just practice getting all of the different ingredient parts and that's it. Once you get comfortable with those things and engaging with those mechanics, it gets a whole lot more fun. And you realize it's really not all that bad. Now, if you want a condensed version of this Easter egg guide in a more list-style organized format, I have all of the necessary information with zero yapping, and you can check it out in this video here and stay beautiful.